And we're back at it again with another episode of the Sealed Only Challenge. We're only opening up the sealed product from here on out. And we are going to take on every single one of Magic the Gathering's formats. Unfortunately, this is going to suck. Honestly, it's going to be pretty rough. So with that in mind, let's get into another episode. Alright guys, so we are cracking into a Duskmourn bundle today. So this should be the last time I kind of do it like this. I'm going to try for next time. Every time I open them up, I'm kind of in the moment. But as you can see here, we are looking for those basic land cards because I have none. Zero. Nada. Making it kind of difficult to figure out where we're going to go next. And hopefully, I'm at least hoping at this point that I'm going to have enough cards. As you can see, I also sucked this. I was like, why am I trying to open this when they make a tab? Really didn't think that one through. But it's been a while since I even opened one of these because kind of whenever you have basic land cards and you have everything else, why are you opening up a bundle? Unless you really want the box that we can put cards in the box, which I'm doing now. But yeah, it doesn't really make any sense. Also, what's going on in here? They used to have like a box, like a little tiny box that they would come with. But I opened this up and it looks like someone just yeeted my bundle at the wall. And then I'm looking through all these tokens and things, but I think, yep, I just tossed it because I was like, I don't need that at all. But yeah, I was kind of examining the state of my box. And I was like, well, then I also picked this up and I was like, what is this? And I could see through it. I'm like, are these the lands? Like what? And then I'm like, why are they in two separate bundles? I was like, didn't they used to come in a little clear plastic? And then it's kind of like, well, here are all my packs thrown about like a wild animal. But yeah, so then the dice I didn't realize was also very large. It was kind of like it was. It's kind of like whenever you pick up a book with large print and you're like, wow, this is just unnecessary. But yeah, so kind of disappointed with the show of the bundle pack. And then I guess this is just for if somebody wants to steal the bundle, now they can't just walk out with it, it'll go off. So I decided, I don't know why, but to rip that. I don't know. This is why I need to be more in the moment because honestly, me now and me then, no idea what was going through my head. Yeah, so I'm opening up the lands, and then I realized also, I'm like, why is this in here? But it's a foil Grievous Wounds, which I didn't know until, like, I don't know. This shows how much I read. I saw the can't gain life, and then I just blanked after that. I didn't realize that every time you dealt damage to someone, it took away half their life. That becomes important later on, and maybe we'll get to that in this episode. But yeah, so I'm just going through. I actually kind of like the regular basic lands even for Duskmourn. I think Duskmourn really banged out the lands. They look pretty good. They look more Magic the Gathering than some of the cards in Duskmourn, which I know some people are pretty upset about, which I don't know. Guys, at this point, with the secret layers and everything else they had in Magic the Gathering, what isn't Magic the Gathering anymore? But yeah, so, and I crack into this one, and I'm expecting another free card, but I was kind of disappointed because I realized, oh no, I'm just getting a token thing telling me how to attack and block. And I was like, oh, that sucks. Hopefully not all these are like this. And then I was like, oh, nope, we got lands. Oh, but yeah, for some reason the plains just looks dirty. Especially if you have the regular plains, you can see there, it just kind of looks like, especially on camera, it kind of looks dirty. I don't know what's going on there. But none of the other ones have that feeling. The way they put some of the pixels on the plains just make it not look great. I'm pretty sure that's what I was thinking at that point. And then I learned how to play Magic the Gathering off of those. But apparently not well, so I threw them out. But yeah, we start cracking into these packs. I love the look of this set, besides a couple cards. But like I said, I'm over that. I do end up getting a couple great cards in here. Spoiler alert, I actually did go to the Commander event that's hosted at my local store, and I may or may not have bought a box when I was there because the Commander deck wasn't feeling too great. But I did take a pre-video of the Commander deck before I kind of upgraded it. So I'm going to use that info to show you what I ended up with. And then I realized it's actually a little stronger than I thought. So we're going to have to do the game plan completely over because the Commander deck, I'm kind of already almost there. Honestly, I feel comfortable with where it's at. And I think I've kind of, nailed that one down. So the next couple videos, maybe we're going to go over what my next thing is. Oh, and to say its name, love this card. If we do a standard deck, it's going to have something revolving around Say Its Name. Because I just love the idea of just being able to plop out, I think it's an 8/8 or a 9/9 on the field that has a little bit of upside. Love that idea. And green's one of my favorite colors. So we're gonna maybe work into that. There's the Clammy Prowler. What else do we pull here? Pyroclasm. This makes it into the Commander deck because we're doing a black, red, blue whirl. I can't remember what it is. The rat snail. It's great colors for removal, and honestly, Pyroclasm made it in until we made it to the game store and I bought another box. Then it got taken out just because I don't want to hit my own stuff. And pretty much everything I had was two toughness. Not a great idea. Marvin also made it in and then immediately made it out because I don't have any activated abilities. That kind of sucks. Also, I pull a Hushwood Verge. Don't need it. We're not doing green-white, so that kind of sucked. The tap lands, though, that come in for if they have 13 life or less, those made it in, and they never came in untapped. So that kind of sucked. Probably better in Standard than they are in Commander, since everybody starts with 40 life. So that was kind of a bummer. Pulled a bunch of scene cards. I'm kind of going to see how many of the scene cards I'm missing at the end of this. I still don't know how to think about those. I don't know what the point of them are. Like, I mean, I guess they're artwork from other things, but it's kind of iffy. This wouldn't be too bad if it wasn't just +1/+1 until end of turn. Some of that, I think the Commander deck wouldn't be as hard to build, or would be a little bit harder to build if the cards didn't seem so not pushed, but they do a lot more than they used to do. So I basically had a ton of removal in my Commander deck. I had a bunch of cards that actually did things. So really you get one thing out that can do something, and then you can remove everybody's things around it, which I'm going to touch on a couple cards if I can get in here, which are great additions and cheap additions for a Commander deck. If anybody's looking to build into another deck or add some things just to change things up a bit. Honestly, the cards that are in here, there's a bunch like this here, the Trial of Agony. It's a half decent card, especially for one red. I almost built a deck around this, and then I was like, this, it's just okay. Waltz of Rage, though, that is a more than okay card. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure this is pretty cheap. This does a lot. Even if you're not doing a Voltron strategy, I was able to pull 3 cards off the top of my deck in the Commander game that we were playing, and I also cleared the board. Great card. Honestly, did not see it coming. Honestly, Brood Spinner, it would have been in the Jund deck if I made that other commander there, Winter. It's just a pretty neat card. So I think we're gonna try, just because of the cards I got in the Dustborn box after this. I think I'm gonna start moving my way into standard. I think we could pretty much build a very competitive standard deck. Just because Dustborn has such a strong, strong blue-white enchantment set of cards, dealing around enchantments. I still need a couple more to make it more relevant, but honestly, I have enchantments galore to stick in this thing. This actually ends up making in Derelict Attic, Widow's Walk. I don't remember if I took it out. I might have. It is a draw 2, but it's not too bad. This, honestly, this card's kind of a letdown. The ability to open up the other room just doesn't fit. This one I don't really care too much about. This made it in at the moment, but I think I took it out because really 1 damage at the beginning of my end step, not that great. Here's one of the cards that I actually ended up taking in. Osasis Stick Twister. I think it's Osasis, whatever, Stick Twister. It's actually a pretty good card. It has lifelink, so really at the end of a commander turn, you're at least getting 6 life if everybody's still in, or they're sacrificing a permanent. So honestly, not a bad trade-off. Gaining 2 life per opponent or them sacking something, I'll take that. Oh, this is a good board wipe, but not in the colors that we're using right now. And then we got our Clockwork Percussionist. Not too into it. But for standard, yeah, we're gonna be moving into blue-white, I believe. So that shouldn't be too hard to do. There's really not much mana fixing that we have, so we're kind of going to be running a lot of basics into this blue-white deck. Tunnel Surveyor, not one of the cards that we're going to be using. Neither is Emerge from the Cocoon. If we do go into a red style deck, that might actually be making into it. If we kind of do a mono red version of a standard deck. I don't know how we're going to crack into Modern. I'm probably going to have to buy some older packs, and maybe we'll start just hunting down cards that maybe I'd need for it. A Fear of Burning Alive made it into the Commander deck. It deals 4 damage to each opponent, and then whenever a source deals non-combat damage to an opponent, if there are 4 more card types among them in your graveyard, you deal that much damage to target creature that player controls. That's pretty great, but honestly, the 4 damage, that's 12 damage whenever it comes in. That's not that hard to slot into a deck, honestly. Attack in the Box, unfortunately didn't make it in either version. Just not that great of a card. No wonder this video took so long. I just was kind of slowly going through this. That's how fast I can read, by the way. Come Back Wrong. It made it into the deck, and it actually, I almost won off a Come Back Wrong. It sucks because it doesn't stay on the field for like any time at all until your end step. So you're really hitting something with an ETB trigger or something that's, I think I hit Illuminate Primordial with the Come Back Wrong at the card shop, and that almost won me the game. It was pretty close, but yeah, it's a sorcery speed, so you can't even play it as an instant. I think if it was an instant and they just added one more colorless to it, maybe it wouldn't have been broken. I don't know. They might have play tested that and been like, but then I think, well, it's Wizards. Did they play test it? I don't know. There's another QR code. They love the QR codes. I didn't even scan this one. I need to actually go back and scan what's on the back of that goblin. I'd like to do a video just with the QR codes that come out of all these packs, because they're constantly throwing those QR codes down there. Somebody in like their IT department just loved the QR codes. They were like, throw them things into everything. I can't remember. The Rampaging Soul Rager definitely didn't make it into the commander deck. Neither did the Friendly Teddy, unfortunately, as much as I wanted to throw it in there. But yeah, we're getting close to kind of moving on to the next step. I really didn't. Oh, this is actually a great card. Unable to Scream. Definitely something that you'd want to think adding into a deck. It deals with your commanders that you're dealing with. Just being able to take any abilities off of a permanent and then not killing it so they can't recur it or bring it back in some way. That's always a great addition to a commander deck. So yeah, I was kind of really excited once I read that to add it in there. But yeah, I don't know how we're gonna break into other formats. This is actually a great card, the Gremlin Tamer. This is part of the blue-white standard deck that I was talking about before. Rip Spawn Hunter. I thought about making it, but I don't have any real vehicles to add in, and I think he'd be fun to have a bunch of vehicles in the deck with. Undead Sprinter made it into the commander deck. It's just there, so it's not too bad. It's just something that you can maybe get some work out of. I don't really have a deck based around it, so honestly, if I'm cutting cards later on, Undead Sprinter's probably not gonna make it too far. I didn't realize it had Trample. I saw the haste before, but I never really processed the fact that it had Trample. That's such a weird card, actually, the more I think about it. There were so many people that were like, what is Manifest? It's like, it's not too difficult, but they're just like, what? Like, whenever they see it. And I think, honestly, one of the biggest things people are missing, that it surveils 2. So it's really surveil 2, and then get a creature if you find one. And then not only that, but maybe you could play the creature later on. It's a very strong ability. And I think it's one of the reasons. Oh, and this is when I finally get the 9/9 Altenac, the Thrice Called. Love that card. So excited to pull this. It is an uncommon, which is kind of wild. They just were like, yeah, I'm just making it uncommon. It having the ability to just discard a card and put a land onto the field, because you don't need it in your hand for the ability to go off, which is awesome. So it's kind of a great card. You could run multiple Altenacs in your deck just because it has the ability to put something onto the battlefield with all the surveil abilities. Oh, also, Sporogenic Infection. I played it 3 times in one game. Don't ask how I did that, but it is a great card. You're able to target something one opponent has and make another player sacrifice a card if you want to do it that way. So it was a great card, honestly. And Charred Foyer and Warp Space, love this card as well. It's just a nice engine to get on the field. If you play Warp Space after the Charred Foyer, I mean, you're getting a free card at least to play every turn. You don't even have to cast it. Peculiar Lighthouse, we ended up putting in, obviously. Didn't end up using that. But the Peculiar Lighthouse did end up going into the deck. Let's see, we are down to like 2 packs, I think, left. But I don't know. I have to really look into the modern landscape because I haven't paid attention to it at all. There's the Abhorrent Eye. Spoiler alert, I may pull one of those with the next booster box, and it may or may not have been used in the commander game, and it may or may not have done very well. That Manifest is just such a great ability. Grab the Prize, didn't make it in. It's just because it's a sorcery. If it was an instant, I might have thought about it, but it just didn't. It didn't make any sense for me to throw that in. But I wonder what the easiest. I'm gonna have to go and do some research just to figure out what the easiest deck would be to build, maybe for For a modern deck, what would be the easiest cards to find? It'd probably be the one that has cards that I could easily substitute in with it. It might bring down the power level, but just something that I could easily go for. Or the deck that uses the most uncommons and commons, because those are the easiest ones to actually pull. But I don't know. It's gonna be a wild one. I might have to just build a modern deck on my own. Oh, and this the Silent Hall Creeper, fantastic card for at least my deck, because whenever I was able to put it in, they had to remove it pretty much immediately because I'd played the Grievous Wounds on somebody, and it turns out when Silent Hall Creeper is just allowed to hit somebody, that kind of sucks, because now they have to they have to deal with it, or they lose half their life every time Silent Hall Creeper comes in. So it was dealt with immediately, but anytime I can play a card and I have to force out some removal, I was pretty excited about that. I'm gonna try and maybe get some videos of Commander games with some random people. I kind of gonna work up the courage and be like, hey guys, you want to be in my video that 12 people are gonna look at on the internet? It's gonna be great. Oh, this is when I start just looking at all the QR codes that they have on the back of the cards. It's kind of ugly. I don't know. I'd like if they would put like a regular back on a couple of the tokens, like, oh look, you got the special token that didn't have 40 things on the back of it. Yeah, there's some extra cards that I think I looked at as well in here to add into the Commander deck, but they just didn't end up making the cut. I am kind of curious what kind of green Commander deck I can build. I know I've ripped the Spawn Hunter. I have Winter. I'd like to also get a Commander deck that starts kind of going towards a outcome of some kind. I'm really kind of just playing a value Commander deck, one that just plays whatever cards I have. We could pull an Ethereal Armor here, which is great. That's definitely going to be a big part of our standard deck. Fear of Exposure, I'm wondering if that's going to be in maybe a standard deck that we'll build into. It is a 3-mana 5/4 as long as you can play some other cards. Nowhere to Run, I ended up binning this to a Surveil, and then somebody ended up going a little out of control with hexproof cards, and I felt just terrible. Norin, Swift Survivalist, this made it into the Commander deck. It's pretty much just being able to bounce spells, which is fantastic. And then I pulled a second Silent Hall Creeper, and you can see me snap my fingers because I already have this. So now I have 2, and that sucks, because I don't think it's like going into anything else. It's just kind of it's an okay card. It's fun, but am I gonna build a deck around it? Not really. So now I have 2 of them, which, I mean, I guess that was inevitable. We're gonna start running into that problem, and I don't know what we're gonna do, because I realize I have like more than 4 copies of some cards. Now, not from this video, but from the next one. I'm up to more than 4 copies of cards. So do I put them in like a little bulk bin and then eventually take them in and cash them in, or I don't know, because I'm kind of like the jump scare one. I think I have multiple jump scares, and same with the Ragged Playmate. So I don't know. Maybe we'll look into what we're gonna do with those. Maybe we'll start doing a Sharpie a Sharpie cube using all my excess cards. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But yeah, we're kind of wrapping up the end here. So we're getting some better points. I've also decided, I guess this is a time to do it. I don't think I'm ever gonna buy precons, the Commander decks, unless for some reason they make it so that's the only way to get certain cards. Yeah, I just don't think I'm gonna get the precons. I feel like it's kind of a cop-out. I know that Nimhim did the sealed product for his Yu-Gi-Oh! Sealed only deck. But it was more, he had a goal in mind. And this is kind of going to just be a growing pile of cards that I'm going to get. So, Demonic Console, by the way, not a bad card, not a great card though. I don't know. I think that card is going to go up in value, but we'll end up seeing what they do with that. But that was the bundle. That was it. Alright guys, that's it for this episode, and so the next one I should be able to pop up. We'll be able to look over what's in this deck, but not what's in it right now, because I put more cards in it now. I'm kind of doing this in a weird sequence. But yeah, we'll go over what's in here, and what's in here before it was in here. But yeah, then we'll be able to jump in, and we'll have to start working on what is next for this challenge, because I really think this is kind of, we don't have to really work on this or work towards working on this, but maybe we'll start moving towards the standard part of our sealed only, and we'll see where we're going to go from there. So thank you, and we'll see you next time.